Hi, my name is Harmen Brenninkmeijer, and I work with Inspired Gaming Group as the Senior Vice President for Strategic Markets in Asia. Effectively in the late 80s, early 90s, I was an agent of American products in the European market, and one of the, let's say, companies I represented was a gaming company called Mycon, and they effectively liked me to look into originally some other product let's say lines that they had for the supermarket chains, etc. But they came out of gaming. They were Las Vegas based, and I started then hitting the gaming market and sell some of the gaming products. So it was kind of an I was dipping my toe, let's say, into the water, and I wasn't expecting to end up in gaming, but I did. Here I am. I've been, from Mycon, I grew out into working with the Gauselman Group in order to develop a number of casinos, to then start representing Novomatic in the Russian market, developing a lot of technology with a lot of Russian expertise, expanding that into Latin America, having an Argentinian and a Colombian-based developed product, and moving into different areas. And then with the shutdown of the Russian market, obviously that brought its own issues, and that's when Novomatic took the company over, and I decided to separate from that venture in order to look around. And then there was an opportunity to join Inspired, which I'm very happy with representing internationally to build them out. So Inspired Gaming Group is a company that's very focused in. We were effectively the let's say the initial inventors, if we can call it as such, of the server-based gaming. Server-based gaming has different connotations. Everybody thinks that as soon as you have a slot machine it has somewhat of a server inside, and as a result it's server-based gaming. But that's not really what it is. It's all about having a large network, like a route operation, having a number of machines on the street, running those machines effectively, efficiently, have the games being downloaded in downtimes or even while people are playing, etc., in order to make sure that there is a new, let's say, experience and can be offered quite quickly. So it is effectively, let's say, the ability to offer gaming in its most advanced format to the public in many different variations. We often talk about server-based gaming being VLTs, video lottery machines. And what we're trying to do is effectively talk to, let's say, regulators, governments, to set up larger machine parks in which, call it street gaming, route operations, arcades are, offered in a more controlled environment, so that everyone knows as to what they're getting, from the player to the regulator to the taxman. So we're looking at being a 21st century kind of technology company that offers gaming solutions that are more interactive and that are more, let's say, advanced and are not the typical games that, let's say, stay on the floor for years. We have a very high turnover of content, and we have the ability to offer features that others can't. So basically what we offer are a range of virtual game products. We have 9 sports today, and they vary from car racing to cricket to horses to dogs to the football or soccer. And we also, on the server-based side, we have lots and lots of games. We have over 1,500 games in our library. We have over 30 suppliers that basically provide content to us, and we call ourselves, truly open, in the sense of that we have a software development kit that a lot of concept writers, game writers can effectively supply us with games that might be unique in certain markets, because the games that are being played in the UK are quite different, not only because of regulations, but also because of their preferences versus what people in Colombia like, what people in for example, Cambodia would like. So it's quite different as to what the offering is that we can offer people, and that's really what keeps us going and makes us continuously innovate our products. Well, we operate in quite a few markets. With the virtual games, we operate in over 35 markets around the world. With regards to server-based gaming, because we like to go into markets where we place many machines, We effectively go into the larger markets, such as the ones that I mentioned, like the UK or Italy, or now we're all trying to fight for a piece of the pie in Greece, where VLTs are approved and where OPAP will decide as to who will be the supplier, and a number of other markets around the world that we feel we have the ability to really deliver machines in the thousands and not in the tens or the hundreds. So we don't really like to vie for a little piece of, let's say, the floor space. We like to vie for getting a bigger chunk of, let's say, the business with larger operators that effectively have multiple operations in their country, and that need, let's say, tight controls in order to make sure that they're very efficient. Our USPs are generally flexibility and speed of development. We work very closely with our operators. We have extremely tight relationships. We listen a lot to our operators that work with us. So a larger operator that has thousands of machines and that likes, a lot of control around, those are the operators that we like to work with. Games often are developed. So let's say we take a standard slots game, and then people say, oh, this is great, but what if, what if I had this particular feature? So for example, if you have a free spin, should the free spin be up to a maximum of 10 games, or would people like to see 30, free spins, or 50 free spins, and what would the ramifications be? And so we're trying to work with people in offering, let's say, variations to that extent in that type of detail. And that's really what makes us very different than the others. I was at a Japan conference not too long ago. And at the Japan conference, it was very interesting to think about that the Japanese actually came up with a lot of game concepts in the 80s and in the 90s. But casino gaming is effectively a industry that is highly regulated and that a lot of different people have a say in. So what that does is that it actually stifles somewhat the development that we can undertake or the type of games that we can offer. But we have a problem today. 2014, we're talking about the fact that we have a lot of social gaming, let's say, and social gambling. There, it seems like almost anything can be offered. If we take a freemium game, we can effectively see a lot of developments into, okay, what is it that would entice a player to actually use money, his own hard-earned cash, to basically get a better experience without ever being able to get anything out of it cash-wise. Now, imagine that we had that liberty to do that in jurisdictions where gaming is very large, where actually we could do the same thing, where we could offer an experience to the gamblers, where the gamblers would be willing to, for example, within a game, buy a game in order to increase their odds. A regulator at the moment does not allow that, or a change of percentages. What a lot of people don't know is that the average slot machine pays back between 92 and 94%, sometimes even higher, up to 97%. So that basically means that we work on very thin margins. But good gamblers obviously spend quite a bit of money, and they would like to see a higher percentage, but we can't vary the percentage. So if we offer a machine with a jackpot to a player that once in a while plays, and you hear about, oh, I just threw in a few coins and suddenly I won the jackpot, fantastic. But meanwhile, gamblers have been playing a lot of money into those same machines with the same odds, and they don't win. So how about if we could vary some of the percentages based on how much money I actually play, in order to then have a higher chance of winning? These concepts are actually being discussed right now amongst regulators in some of the most known jurisdictions around the world in which gaming takes place. This is what stifles innovation. This is what we do need. We need these changes. Once we have these changes, technically, we can do many more things. I could see a future trend whereby we don't only have people play a game themselves. So I'm sitting behind a slot machine and I'm individually, let's say, ingrained in my game with the machine, and we become one. I can actually see where a screen, or let's say a very large let's say an LCD screen would be flat on a table where I could have 10 people around the table. We'd be fighting each other on the table with different odds, different handicaps, in order then to see who would be the winner and takes it all, or most. iGaming is a great opportunity to grow further with, but the regulators need to allow it. And obviously we know that there are many major jurisdictions around the world that make it extremely difficult to get into that space. And that, of course, will again, stop it. Meanwhile, we have a lot of people working in the gray area around it, and they keep on growing. So if you're in the legitimate area, if you are, highly regulated, and you just want to make sure that you have the right name, and that you do not want to be contained with working in the gray areas, there isn't, you are limited in, let's say, the expansion. So what you got to do is you got to go in depth and come up with much better product in order to make sure that you can keep on growing, and that is not always easy, and it costs a lot of money, and it is something that takes years. So there are some significant issues that limit, let's say, the possibilities. But but that said, it also offers the opportunities for the people that understand the industry well to really expand. We need to speak with one voice. We need to be able to talk to a lot of people and educate people about gaming in its totally right format. We need to talk facts, not what we would like to see. This is not an industry where we can talk with emotion. We have to talk with the facts on the table and basically say these are the results. We have enough data in order to make our points. I think I've been very lucky in my career in the sense that I've been able to work in almost every aspect of gaming. So I'm not only, let's say, somewhat familiar with gaming on the supply side and being able to sell the products. I've been working as the chairman of the European Gaming Organization, so in that sense had a lot of discussion with regulators. I actually advise some governments in different countries. I work with technology startups, and I have been able to run casinos. I actually ran the Playboy Casino in the late 90s in Greece, which was a great experience. So I've been one of the lucky ones that effectively has been able to see all facets of the industry. I've been able to travel a bit in order to really see what's out there in the world, in order to understand gaming well enough to therefore be able to support not only my opinions but also my ventures to, inspire it in order to really build us out into, what we are today and what we could be in the future. Once you're in industry, you never want to leave the industry. This is an industry that's, I was talking about facts, I was talking about the fact that we're highly regulated, etc., but actually it's really an industry of passion. There's an enormous amount of passion amongst the people that work in the industry. We really like what we're doing. We really like the fact that it's a 24-hour industry and that we actually have a lot of fun doing what we're doing. So I'd say, for anybody who wants to get in the industry, be prepared to work extremely hard. But you will have a lot of fun. Make sure that you really try your best because it's highly competitive, and try to learn as much as you can from the people around you. This is an industry where you got to be a Da Vinci, ask questions, and again, and again, and again, until you feel that you really have some answers, but you'll never have them all. It depends what you like. A lot of people like games to be played with a number of people around them, so they tend to migrate to the tables or the poker. I love playing a poker game. And I love, just placing a bet, whatever bet it is. If I'm in the mood, I'll really have some fun around the table. I'm the type of guy that goes around the blackjack table and really likes to, up the ante with, the dealer and my players, colleague players, whatever you call, players, people that I don't know at all, to have conversations with, etc., and create some fun around it. So it's really nice. But at the same token, I love to place a bet on the slot because with the slots game, I get into the game and I effectively, it becomes like a it's like you forget the rest of the world, and at times it's just a nice thing to do. I don't like the odds, and I don't like the payout. The average lottery has a payout that is very low, between 50–60%. So the fact that I have a chance of 1 in so many millions, and on top of that I only get part of my money back, theoretically, doesn't really jive. But at the same token, I am a big supporter of the lotteries because of the fact that I like the charity element. So yes, I do play the lottery, not often, but I do play it in cases where people come to me and they basically offer it to me, with the right charitable elements to it. Because then I feel I'm effectively paying for charity and I still have a chance of winning something. So that's how I look at lotteries. There are actually people that are in luck, and there are people, I know of quite a few people that are in generally they take out more than they bring in. So I'm not one of those. But then again, are you lucky in love or are you lucky in the game?